Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be watching Between the Posts. My name is Tony Neal, and joining me is the great man Tommy Jabor. Welcome, Tommy.
Well, it's that time of year, Tony. It's getting exciting. Grand final week.
It is absolutely sensational, Tommy. Exciting. What have we got on the show tonight? We've got all the grand final details and the previews to the big day. Phil Herden brings us all the results so far from all divisions, and Tommy Jabor, well, the Division 1 wrap from the preliminary final.
Not just the wrap, mate, the preview of the Division 1 Grand Final as well will be in my weekly wrap this week. So, also Beck Northcott will be joining us. She'll be announcing, well, I've got it right here, I can't show it to you, the Women's Team of the Year. Congratulations everyone that made that. Beck will be reading that one out. We're going to, obviously, talk to our great sponsors. I think you're going to meet with one of your sponsors, one of our great sponsors tonight, aren't we?
Correct.
Yes, beautiful. And we've got some special deals for the clubs as well. All this and much more. Firstly, as well, we're going to say congratulations to Eagle Farm because we've got one grand final winner. Div 7 grand final winner. Well done to the farmers and Kerry Payne. You can see them on Community Bounce this week, and you interviewed him last week, didn't you?
Correct, Mondo.
Great job, highly viewed, But we've got 6 A grade grand finals, and of course all the B and C grade grand finals. We're going to tell you where to go, who's playing, and all the details you want. We're back with Between the Posts after these sponsorship messages.
Well, we can get told where to go.
Welcome to the weekly wrap, the Division 1 weekly wrap with Tommy Jabor on Between the Posts. And then there were 2. That's right, we are down to 2 teams. The grand final this week. Let's have a look back at the prelim final, which of course the stream team covered, and it was PAC 16-19, 115. Too good for Teacher Gully, 5-9, 39, a 76-point result there to PAC. The player we're going to have a little deep dive in and have a look at is that man, the captain, Lachlan McNamara. I awarded him best on ground for his 26 touches at 85%. He had 4 clearances, 4 marks and a goal. I'm sure you're looking at some of those individual stats right now. It was his second quarter that he really lit it up and took full control of the game. And whilst the game scoreline might sound one-sided, it didn't actually play out that way early. Early on, PAC controlled the game, but pressure continued to mount as they kicked 4 points in a row. And then what happens? Teacher Gully take it down the other end and they kick a great goal. Following on from that, Luke Brown kicks a 55-metre bomb up on about his 10th or 12th possession in the first quarter, and we thought, hello, Teacher Gully by 8 points. We might have a game on here. Then on the death knell on the quarter time siren, Tyson Razzle Dazzle Brazzle comes from 4 or 5 deep and takes a big pack mark. Keep in mind he's already missed 2 one sitter and 1 very gettable shot. And cometh the man, cometh the moment. He puts it through from about 35 metres out to bring it back to just a 1-goal margin, and that changed the game completely. PAC went into quarter time with all the momentum, and they would go on across the next 2 quarters to score something along the lines of, I don't have the exact stat in front of me, I think it was 12 goals 10 to 2 points. It was one-way traffic. It was the PAC we know. Well, as a neutral football fan, you love to watch a team just play the way they do. They were fantastic. Goal kickers, Jaden Juice Davis, the medalist, back. He comes back into the team, he kicks 5 goals. I'm going to say I told you so, but the Moneyball effect, you have your goal kickers playing finals, and he played very, very well. Brazel kicked 4, and Wildman floating off half back, if you don't mind, with a couple of snags. Pistol Pete Personos just punctuated his season nicely with a couple of goals. Missed a couple of early chances. I'm sure I wish he had his timing, and they weren't easy ones, but that's what Pistol does. He kicks those amazing ones, but he certainly tried very hard all day. Let's have a look at the Dartfish stats. Of course, the team disposals. It makes the reading probably illustrates exactly why the score was what it was. So I'm not sure if it's large enough for you guys to read it, but it was 124 more disposals for the Redmen, and 126 of those were effective. So it's 347 to 223. They did take full control of the game, and that led to what you'd expect to happen with the inside 50s. It was 55 to 30. They had 3 less clearances, but that's very much the case. The best clearance teams in Div 1 are Teacher Gully and Glenunga. With Blake Penny, Luke Brown, they were able to curtail that to get within 3 clearances, made all the difference. Their rebound from half back was outstanding. And again, the hitouts, normally the hitouts are very lopsided when you're up against Penny, but they got within 8 hitouts. So they did have 43 more marks, 6 more tackles, and that led to 8 more free kicks. So everything sort of seemed to go their way in that second and third quarter. It's fair to say it looked as well like Teacher Gully. They've had an amazing month, an amazing run. ran out of petrol tickets. An injury to Luke Brown in the second quarter absolutely curtailed any momentum they had and any probably chance in the game. From our vantage point anyway, the score at half-time was 7-2. We felt like PAC had taken full control of the game. Being a stream team game, there's prizes coming out of the yin-yang, of course. Most of them are Archie's thongs, to be fair, and the Mosley voucher. The award I gave the Archie song to, this guy was on fire, pardon the pun. It was Jordan Neal, back from a really bad burn. The role he played, now his stats don't suggest that he was probably in the top 3 players, but he had 9 touches, 15 hit-outs, 2 clearances, but he negated the influence of Blake Penny, who has been the best ruckman in the competition and in the Adelaide Footy League in general. Blake's had an outstanding season. Just to have what Geordie did incredibly well was he jumped early and he jumped over him. He's not the tallest ruckman, but he's a spring heel jack, and it was an outstanding game from the blonde bomber, and he was able to deftly palm with both hands. He is a left-handed ruckman, but can actually use his right. The Mosley voucher best team player went to that man, Jaden Davis. He took it like a man. He got dropped because they had to play a ruckman for points. Went down to the B grades after kicking 50-odd goals and winning the league goal-kicking medal. Bob's up with 5, but not just 5. 15 touches, 5 marks, 5 straight goals. Just a great game from the Juice, and he was on early, and you could tell, pushing all the way up to the wings, getting lots of good quality ball. The Neo Northmouth player that I've already talked about, the mark by Tyson Braswell after kicking some points early was huge, and he went on to kick 4 goals, 6. So probably not the most accurate day for a goal, but could have easily kicked 7 or 8. And our best on ground, he won he didn't win the New Balance voucher. He won the Dartfish beanie and the Archie's thongs. I'm not sure if they're in shot. Archie's, the best footwear guaranteed. You can dress them up or down. You can wear them hot or cold. You can wear them with socks. They're that bloody good. Lockie McNamara, well done. Just looking at the best players for Tea Tree Gully. Again, Luke Brown, he did I can't remember, he strained something, but he battled on. We saw him limping around. He's full of courage. He's got that tenacity and grit. He still ended up with 21 touches, 11 marks and a goal. And when he was on early, they just did look a chance, Tea Tree Gully. Zach McKay was good. Personal kick 2-4. Again, straight kicking probably could have been a bit more damaging. And Tape certainly played his role, having 19 touches. All 4 of them could hold their heads high. For PAC, as we've mentioned, McNamara, Cam Wildman might be one for Glenunga to watch this week. He had 32-2 off the halfback. He was very dangerous. Brazel with his 4-6. Jack Trengrove, 30-1. I think Jack Trengrove is just starting to peak at the right time. Recently named the number 1 footballer in the league. Some people might argue that, might say Abe Davis, but come grand final day, the big ones stand up. It'll be interesting to see if he can continue his great run of form. Chris Curran had 23-1, and he's just also hit a really rich vein of form over the last few weeks. You can throw in Neil and Davis as well. Final thoughts on the game. Tea Tree Gully, well done on an outstanding fight back. Show real grit and resilience. You've had a lot of injuries through the year, and you got everyone very, very nervous. Everything you did in the finals was entertaining. You're a great club. You've got a great coach, full of great people. Maybe I'm getting too old to hate footy clubs, but I truly respect what you've done as a club in your juniors and seniors, and wish you all the best for the years to come. I know you'll be around Div 1 for a long time. So we get on to this week, the main event. We've been waiting for it all year. It's 2:30 p.m. Glenunga versus PAC at Nord Oval. Who would have thunked it? Well, I'll tell you who would have thunked it. I mean, I've mentioned it a few times this year, so I'm not sure if James, Jimmy the editor, he does an amazing job. I'm not sure if he's going to play the mystery music, but let me take you back to December 12th, 2022, and let's just see who thought this was going to happen. Now, look, what I might just do is just go absolutely crazy on a limb. John from Dartford said, come in here and really shake it up. So here we go. Relegation, Div 1 next year. I'll burn this tape if this is... Old Iggy's and Spock, give them a bit of ammunition. Grand final, Prince Alfred, Glenunga.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, Tony, Neil just give me a... Oh!
That's 3 big tips, Tony.
Glenunga at home is just... Yeah, they're elite. There you go. It was a long time ago. Probably the only thing I've ever got right. Apart from the fact I also predicted there that Old Iggy's would go down and Spock would go down. Oh, I got that wrong, Spock. Goodwood went down after 34 years. But that, again, was an amazing... Goodwood, Adam Jeffries, former coach, and I was sharing commentary duties. He's still surprised to this day. And look, just to round it out, just to see if you wanted to know who was going to come into Div 1 early, while they're coming, have a look at this little piece. Jimmy, let them have the Div 2 premiership predictions. I've got an interesting statistic Every single team, bar 2, have played in Division 1. North Haven and Golden Grove. Right?
Yes.
So everyone else has been in Division 1. I'm tipping Golden Grove to win this division and be the 9th team in this year's Div 2 to go into Div 1.
So our first bold prediction, note that down.
Golden Grove.
Put that in the videotape
Yep.
for the end of season.
Thanks for that. Now, it'd be remiss of me. Jimmy makes me look good every week. I'm going to miss him. You know, I'm talking about footage. He's cutting it in, rolling it over, and also to John from Darfish supplying me with all the stats. It makes it really easy. Let's have a look at some of the stats of the grand final. I'm not going to dive too deep into it because obviously I'm on the whole show tonight with Tony. And as you can see, all the paperwork, don't enlarge this. I've got teams of the year, men's and women's. We've got a whole bunch of segments. We've got it all. So let's have a look. This year in round 8, and I was fortunate enough to see all 3 of these games. It was PAC 8-3-51, too good for Glenunga 6-6-42. On a wet, miserable day at Park 9, Clark, Davis and Brazel all bobbed up with 2. Mike Wunke kicked 3 for Glenunga. They got the lead all day, early in the day. PAC were able to keep Glenunga at arm's length. But Glenunga got within 9 points and certainly never looked like winning, but were always around the mark. In the return clash at round 17 at Webb, well, when was the last time Glenunga lost at Webb Oval? Middle of last year's the answer if you're looking for it. It was Glenunga 11-16, PAC 8-7. Davis best on ground. Now that of course is Abe Davis. He polled 3 best on grounds with the umpires in the last 3 rounds. He was enormous in rounds 16, 17 and 18 against Shock, PAC and Port District and took full control that day. He was amazing. The margin across that day at the breaks was 15, 28, 24 and 27. So halfway through the second quarter, Glenunga had control and they were able to maintain control. The second semi at Webb was a lot closer though. It was a low-scoring affair where Glenunga 7-9-51 beat PAC 6-7-43, an 8-point win. Again, PAC were able to get within a point at three-quarter time despite Glenunga having most of the ascendancy all day. In the last quarter, they stood up. Again, best on ground, that man, Abe Davis. I kind of mentioned against Teacher Gully, the way to stop Teacher Gully was to stop Luke Brown. I think there's a real trend here. Abe Davis is the one to stop. And it might be a double tag, it might be a hard tag. I'm not sure how they do it, but PAC need to put some time into it. Okay, let's look at some of the matchups really quickly. The battle in ruck is crucial. So Geordie Neal, I mentioned him, his comeback. He's going to be taking on 2, look, no offence, makeshift ruckmen, the key position players, who aren't that huge, in Nick Wunke and Darcy Mitchell. What they do really well is they jump into the opponent, whereas Jordan jumps over the opponent. It'll be really interesting to see how this battle plays out looking forward. Whoever can get first use of the ball to that midfield group, and gee, there's 2 elite midfielders there, it's going to be absolutely, it's going to give you a leg up into winning the Div 1 flag. Looking at the bookends, well, the battle between Brazel and Sam Wunke, that should be an absolute beauty. Interviewed Braz after the game, he's looking forward to it. Sam Wunke, 2022 SANFL Defender Fullback of the Year, now playing Div 1. Brazel, of course, played some league footy last year. These are 2 very good footballers. I think Braz has got to, he likes it one-on-one. Sam Wunke is very good at one-on-one. He's got to get out on the lead, though. He's got to push up, maybe leave some space behind him. That's the way I'd play it. At the other end, you've got Mike Wunke. Mike Wunke is just starting to get into really, really good form. He'll be taking on Tommy Sumner. What Wunks has been able to do is he's been able to kick early goals. That's really important. Again, one-on-one, he may have lost 30 or 40 kilos. He's still incredibly strong and protects the ball drop. So watch out for that from Mike Wunke. If I was Sumner, I wouldn't be playing him body on body. Mike's not getting a ton of goals, but he always keeps the ball in the area and he's really strong at the contest. The off-field battle is really interesting to me. Grimer versus Pitt. 2 coaches are both fantastic. They've led their teams all the way this year. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, the sideline needs to be considered as well. Because Pitty's a playing coach, you've got the, a man that works probably harder on stats and analytics than anyone I ever know, Beachy, the assistant coach of Glenunga. He'll be analysing things to within an inch of his life with all the boffins on the sideline, contested ball, short kicks, long kicks. That's a man who loves the Dartfish stats. And the evil genius of David Pittman. He's there. He'll bob in when he needs to and give his 2 cents worth as well. He's a man that's been there. Well, he's helped the ascension of Glenunga. On the other side, you've got Adam Sylvian. Adam, a really competent coach, really measured coach. So it's going to be interesting to see. I find the Glenunga huddles are a lot more passionate, a lot more grunt, whereas PAC constantly calm, no matter what the situation is. It's 2 very different styles from 2 very different teams. But there's one matchup we really need to consider. It's Abe Davis. Right? Who do they send to him? Is it Bradley? Is it Pitt? Is it Jolly? Is it a combination through? Or do they send a lesser light, a percolator, and actually tag him? Old school tag him. The problem you've got with tagging Abe Davis is, well, he's a bear. He's a huge bear. He's so incredibly strong. He's able to wrestle through tackles, he's able to walk through tackles, and he can still get the ball going in Glenunga's direction to allow for clearances to work towards them. And with the outside runners of Bo Schwartz and these types, he just frees them up because players gravitate towards him. I'm not sure what the plan will be for Abe Davis, but they better have one, otherwise he's going to lead Glenunga to a premiership. I guess for Glenunga, if I was thinking from their point of view, I'd be certainly thinking about Jack Trengrove. As I said, Jack Trengrove just seems to be getting better and better in this season as it goes along. Obviously, he started at a very high level anyway, but I reckon he is cherry ripe. He's played Norwood Oval quite a few times to absolutely unleash with 35-2. And if he does that, probably PAC will win. So, look, it is going to be an incredible battle. If you look at statistically some of the other things, and I've sat there doing the mad scientist stats, so I've been told, I didn't double check the research, but it's 1,058 SANFL AFL games for PAC. That's a lot. So I thought, you know what, let's have a look on the Glenunga side. I found 450 plus games of SANFL, AFL or VFL games for Glenunga. So there's plenty of experience there too. And that doesn't include someone like Alex Harron, who's their captain, who's had 70 reserves games. He's a great player. So does that stat matter? Well, it probably should on grand final day because they've had more experience at the parade, and the parade is a unique ground. Everyone says the parade is tiny. What makes the parade feel tiny is that brick wall. Imagine the brick wall wasn't there. It's maybe not quite as tiny as some people make it out. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is give a tip for this Div 1 wrap. We'll be back next week with the Div 1 wrap of the season and this game. But I've laid awake at night on this one, and I've shown you the clips of me predicting everything perfectly. And if I'm being completely honest, I haven't got a clue. I don't know who's going to win this game of footy, and that is the truth. Because it's really hard. I was at Payneham for 17 years and Glenunga for 2 years. I've tipped against Payneham. Didn't want to do it, but it's logic. And believe it or not, after finishing top by a game and a half and going straight through, I'm tipping Prince Alfred College to win the game by 3 points and Jack Trengrove to be best on ground. I've actually got shivers saying it. I'm not going to lie. I'll be calling it right down the middle, as it's my job to do that. But obviously, I have a bit of a foot in the Glenunga camp. I've got friends there. I wish them all the best. I wish both teams all the best, but I'm here to give my expert opinion. My expert opinion is the experience of PAC in their third consecutive Division 1 grand final will just get the chocolates. Good luck to both teams on the biggest day of the year. It's going to be huge. Good luck to all teams playing in grand finals this week. This is Tony Javor with the Div 1 wrap. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more Between the Posts.
Well, the excitement and the enthusiasm has not waned. I love the Buddy Bet segment, but Tommy,
How do you love
will
it,
I
mate?
get one
I
more?
went 12, mate. You wanted me a half a carton, my
I
friend.
handed it out. Righto, what are we going to look at this week?
Well, Tony, you couldn't pick your nose currently in Buddy, but you really are, you struggle. You're a battler. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking at the games at all the grand finals. I'm thinking, who is the biggest underdog? And for me, I think Marion are red hot favourites in Division 6. Greenacres have come up from Division 7, stalled a little bit after a strong start. I think there'd be a major underdog at St Mary's, which is not far from Marion. So I'm willing to give you Marion, and I'll take the Dragons. What do you think?
I get Marion. Oh, I'll take that my day. Fantastic. All right, well, keep an eye on it, folks, and remember, gamble responsibly.
And welcome back to Between the Posts. Now, all year we've had division specialists. So it's time that they stepped up. So what we've got to do is we've spoken to all the division specialists and they've sent in their division predictions for their division. So Tony, you're going to start. It's Golden Grove versus PNU, and the great man Matt Gale has got his grand final predictions.
Well, this is what came across the wires, folks. Golden Grove to defeat Payneham Norwood Union by 43 points. The G-Train Express from Golden Grove will have too much polish within their star-studded lineup and will set up their victory by half-time. It's a grand final. Payne and Norwood Union were super impressive on the weekend against Foss Camden and thoroughly deserved gaining promotion to the top tier of the Adelaide Footy League in 2024. But may have played their grand final already whilst being in promotion mode. The Kookaburras are a driven club who will thrive on the big stage and have a habit of taking home silverware when it's on the line. Joshua Glenn, the big tip for the Breakthrough Mental Health Division 2 Grand Final Best On Ground honours.
Thanks for that, Matty. Okay, it's Division 3 time. Tim Pillion has sent through his preview of Flinders Park versus Modbury. Modbury beat Flinders Park both times in the minor round by 48 points and 9 points. In the second semi at Modbury Oval, though, Flinders Park, bit of an upset, 6-point winners. The rematch at Woodville Oval will be in the wide open spaces. Timmy doesn't think that that's going to favour either team, and we're expecting warm, dry weather. The Flinders Park running brigade versus the strength of the key position players at Modbury. Modbury have Liam Verity, who's been very, very good with 83 goals, Jaden Watson, 39 goals, and key backs Mitch Coles and Ryan Lelewin, as well as on-ballers, the evergreen Tim Davey and Darcy Pisani. Flinders Park have the three Schwartz brothers, Nick, Tom and James. They've got Max Teague, who's bobbed up with 50 goals, and Daniel Blythe with 42 goals. Dakota Nixon running off half-back will be one to stop. Flinders Park have kicked over 10 goals in 6 of their last 7 games and over 18 goals 4 of the last 7 games. 11 won them the game last time against Modbury. It was just an 11-goal score for Flinders Park. Modbury have kicked over 10 goals in all of their last 9 games, and they've kicked over 18 goals just once. 10 goals wasn't enough against Flinders Park. Both clubs have a great injury room and will provide many inside forward 50s for their forwards. It probably might come down to the best defence. Who can hold the team to under 10 goals? Tim Pillion tips Modbury by 13 to 24 points. Tony, what do we got for Div 4?
Well, Division 4, Lockleys versus CBC Old Collegians. This also was done by Tim Pillion, so expert analysis by Tim. The teams, well, they finished second and third after the minor round with the same amount of wins. Oh, how good's this? Both teams won away from home, 1-1 during the minor round by 21 and 29 points. Very close again. However, in the qualifying final, Lockleys beat CBC by 8 goals at Lockleys Oval. Campbelltown is another big oval with wide spaces suited for running and spreading. So closely matched. Ben Haran, Lockleys, 69 goals, and Sam Ferguson, 41 goals versus CBC Brett Simpson, 67 goals, and Aaron Marchioro, 47 goals. So, boy, some great numbers there. Lockleys have Bowen Hosking and Ben Haran as key forwards, and Aaron Rainey and Cameron Bosnian as key backs, who have been very strong all year. CBC have Sam and Matt Raymond as strong midfielders who can give plenty of supply to Simpson and Marchioro. CBC have kicked over 10 goals in 7 of their 7 last games, but never more than 18 goals in the last 7 games. Tim Pillion predicts Lockleys 12 to 24 points.
Interesting incremental amount there. Okay, Jack Moore brings us Division 5, Jeps Cross and Kilburn. What a matchup to decide the Division 5 Crown for 2023. It's Jeps Cross who are commanding throughout the season, undefeated through 15 rounds before actually falling to the Chicks in round 16 as their only loss. The Chicks, they really started off strongly in the season. They took the comp by storm and finished second. They set scoring records across all of the Adelaide Footy League, averaging 137 points a game. Both teams were defensively solid, allowing 62 points a game to their opposition, and probably it's fair to say they're the most 2 deserving clubs that deserve the promotion they're about to get. Both teams defeated the other at home, which is interesting enough, in round 7s and round 16 respectively. Kilburn was shocked in the qualifying final by Colonel Light Gardens, but have hit serious form since then, scoring 45 goals in the next 2 finals. That's 45 goals in the last 2 games. Jeps Cross come into the grand final having played 1 game in 3 weeks, which is always an interesting stat. They earned the week off finishing first and then won the first qualifier. Jack finds it very hard to split these 2 teams. Jeps Cross are rested and well prepared, losing 1 game all season, but Elizabeth Oval will be a big key in this factor. Kilburn will look to use the width of the ground and pull the Rams' defensive zone around. Both teams are solid defensively, and Jeps Cross have the edge in the midfield with Div 5 League BNF winner Daniel Mason. They also have the runner-up former Melbourne and Port player
Dom Barry. Also spent some time with some sample clubs. They will win the lion's share of the clearances. The question is how efficient, how effective will the Rams be going forward from the centre? For every error and target missed, Kieran Kilburn are very likely to slingshot and use the space of Elizabeth Oval to feed Division 5 top scorer Man Mountain Corey Solly and third top sticks Michael Housen. It should be a football exhibition and an attacking grand final like yesteryear. Prowess, fast ball movement and counter-attacking style coupled with vast expanses of Elizabeth Oval slightly, just ever so slightly, tip the scales in the favour of Kilburn. The prediction, both teams to score 100 points, but in their 100th year, the Chicks will get the chocolates by just 4 points. Thanks, Jack Moore.
Very comprehensive, fantastic. Division 6, Marion versus Greenacres. This one is given by Jad Gosson. For Division 6, the grand final is between Marion and Greenacres, another big oval at St Mary's Park. They've been the top two teams all year and face off in a much anticipated and deserved grand final. Greenacres beat Salisbury twice in finals to make the grand final. However, Marion beat Greenacres to qualify for the grand final, but by only 1 point, with Gibson from Greenacres kicking 5 goals. Marion have only lost once all season, and that was versus Greenacres in round 1. Key players to look out for Marion are O'Day and Stewart with their main goal scorers. O'Day being the top goal scorer of the whole league with 72 goals. Fairley and Angel are among the most times being best players. For Greenacres, top goal scorers are Gibson and Takono. 80 and Smith are most for them in the best players. I would suggest Jad is tipping Marion to defeat Greenacres.
Thanks for that, Tony. Thanks for all the experts for giving us those raps. We'll be back with more Between the Posts.
Welcome back, folks. Well, we interviewed both coaches last week from Ingle Farm and Houghton districts respectively. And, Ingle Farm got over the line. But let's just have a quick look as a Division 7 specialist with the B grade. Houghton kicked 6 goals, 5-2 after half time to win the B grade. And that goal was up on Facebook. Interesting to watch the winning goal being scored. So they got over the line by 6 points. In the A grade, well, would that give Houghton the impetus? Let's see what happened. Ingle Farm were the favourites. They only lost 1 game all year, which came in round 1, and they played like it. 21 goals, 18, 144, 7 goals, 16, 58 was the final score. They kicked 6-4 in the first quarter. They kicked 7 goals, 3 in the third quarter, and they kicked 5 in the last. So a couple of really big quarters there for Ingle Farm. Houghton started well but couldn't get on the scoreboard as much as they would have liked early, and Ingle Farm with their fast ball movement, uncontested marks and skillful players in front of goal kicked away quickly and kept that lead the whole game. Although only 30 points up at quarter time, written by Jad, who was there at the game, only 30 points, that only grew and Ingle Farm won by 86 points. The chemistry and ball movement was a standout and great defence. For Houghton, well, they did well to get promoted from third on the ladder, beating Para Hills and the 122 goal scorer Daniel Wheatra twice in the finals. Some of the best on the day, Kai Vandermoer, Riley Babiak, Dylan Tippett, Cameron Schultz, Riley Davenant. Goal scorer Kai Vandermoer kicked 4. For Ingle Farm, the better players on the day, Daniel Tankos, Cameron Sandico, Devon Payne, Jack Delcho and Nathan Buck. Goal scorers, Brandon Rigney 5, Terrell Rigney 4, Bradley Sanderson 3. Congratulations Ingle Farm, 2007, Division 7 Premiers for 2023.
And welcome to Between the Posts, one of the most exciting segments of the year. Tommy Javor, joined by Beck Northcott. Welcome, Beck.
G'day, Tommy. Good to see you.
Well, it is Team of the Year time, so I brought in the expert, and you proved yourself quite an expert. I want to point out the only person to Tea Tree Gully in round 1 of the final, so well done.
Yes, I did actually get some good raps for that. So, yeah, I'll take it.
Really done. Now, this is where we're online. There's been a selection of us come together for this Women's Team of the Year, and it's been formulated by the Adelaide Footy League. But it's a really exciting time. Congratulations to everyone that's made it. I think James, he does an amazing job. He's going to put some footage to some of the girls. So let's start in the forward line, please, Beck.
Yeah, so taking us off in the forward line, we have Remy Grant from Broadview. She was also the leading goal kicker in the league, so we've got to have her in there. Also got Claudia O'Neill from the Henley Sharks, and she's also taking the role of vice captain. So well done, Claudia. And also her teammate in Kayla Robrin from the Henley Sharks as well. I know she put some serious goals on this year.
A very famous name. There's an N named after her grandpa Barry down at North Adelaide, and I'm sure parents Matt and Danny would be extremely happy with that selection. I'm going to have a look at the half forward line because no coincidence, one of my clubs that I obviously very close to my heart, Payne Norwood Junior and Adrian Davies, otherwise known as Dren. She makes up the half forward flank. She's on the left half forward flank. Well done to Dren. And another Falcon, PNU's own Letitia Ackland, Tish, who also spent a bit of time at the North Adelaide Footy Club. She's the big tall centre half forward. Her brother Swain as well, a wonderful footballer. And on the other half forward flank, it's Michaela Walker from Morphy Park. Well done to those 3 girls.
Yeah, so 3 girls there who featured pretty heavily in the grand final that we covered a few weeks ago.
Who's in the guts, Beck? Who's made the guts? Tell me that.
This is, these are the serious positions, the ones everyone's looking for. So we've got Ernie Geekus from Old Ignatians, Stephanie Walker from Adelaide Uni, long-time performer. We've seen her through Sandford and even a little bit of AFLW, and also Kate Ferguson from Broadview.
Yes, they are, of course, the wingers. Well done to Kate, Sandford alumni. Another former North Adelaide player. Well done to all 3 girls. Absolutely brilliant. So the followers or the ruckman, who knows what you call them these days? Sweepers, hit twos, blockers. But we used to call them first ruck, rover and rover. The first one from Morphy Park. They call her Cel, so apologies if I get your full first name wrong. It's Celestina Donna. Is I saying that right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm pretty happy with myself. No worries.
Morphy Park, can Payne Norwood Union get in front? There she is, Donna. Just as we speak.
Our ruck rover or hit two is the captain, well done, named captain. From the Morphy Park Football Club, it's Olivia Evans. And the rover, well, when I spoke to some Broadview people today, they said, she's got to be in there. Zara Malloy. She's a star from Broadview. Well done to Zara. Take us through the half-back line, please, Beck.
So we'll start off with Nicolette Dunn from Morphettville Park. We also got Ella Metcalf from Broadview and Grace Smolacombe from Morphettville Park. So a very strong line across there from teams that were heavily involved in the finals.
Yeah, so Morphy Park, of course, winning by a point over Payneham, and Broadview was strong all year in the A's and B's. So you'd expect a fair bit of representation from those great players.
Definitely.
The full back line, our only Happy Valley representative, I believe, is Sandy Groth. Well done to Sandy. The full back of the year is Jess Meechan from the Falcons of PNU. Well done to Jess. And in the back pocket from Smosh West Lakes Football Club, the Lions, Indy Buckskin James. Well done to Indy there. So our interchange, please. You take the first 2 maybe, I'll get the next 2.
No worries. So we've got Lauren Hoffman from the Henley Sharks. So had pretty good representation in their Henley for their first year in Div 1. So getting it done there. And then Chloe Samuel from Payneham Norwood Union.
And from Morphy Park, we've got Minna. I should have checked this one. I practiced my pronunciations. Is it Minerva? Am I saying?
Yes,
Minerva Bailey. Apologies from Morphettville Park. Well done, Minerva. Apologies for getting your name wrong. And a bit of an easier one as well. They're only rep, but well done to Alice Winter from Old Ignatians. She makes up the 22. So there's one position left to announce, mate, and that, of course, is the coach.
So, we've got to give it to Tammy Scott
it's not you.
from Morphettville Park. Oh, no, surprise, not me. But Tammy had an awesome year, taking the reins at Morphettville Park this year. She's been around the club for years and years, but, let her tend to that, as you said, amazing 1-point win in the grand final.
So Tammy Scott has done an amazing job in women's football for a long time.
Yeah.
She's run, back when I was at the Bay, she ran Auskicks. She was one of the very first female talent officers, a great leader of young and older women, and well deserving as a coach. So what a great team, mate. It's a wonderful looking team on paper. Of course, these aren't paper teams, they're not going to actually play a game, but we wish to congratulate all the girls that made it, and especially on behalf of Dartfish Filming Footy and Between the Posts, thank you for all the great work you've done in the women's football space this year, Beck.
Well, it's been a great year. There's been some great footy, and I'm excited to hopefully cover even more of it next season.
Fantastic. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more Between the Posts.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's always good to get our sponsors in, and it's time for a sponsor spotlight. We've got Jason Goods from the Banner Crew with us. Welcome, Jason, first of all.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Mate, magnificent support over the last few years, and we understand you're going forward with us as well. I guess, folks, for those of you out there that are wondering what Jason does, you've seen my ad over and over and over, and Tommy tells us he fast forward through it. But there's some great stuff going on through Banner Crew. I reckon over the years, mate, we've probably got hundreds of hoodies, and I say that significantly through Dartfish, because we do, of course, the Hills Football League, we've got other football leagues around Australia, we've got all of WA, and of course the Adelaide Football League, all branded by yourself, and they are magnificent hoodies, mate. So
thank you, and polos as well. We've done both hoodies and polos for you.
We have got the polos as well, caps, t-shirts, hoodies, and jackets, the beanies. But for the clubs out there watching right now, what are some of the... I love this, because when we came down and we've seen some of these in action, more so your core products that you've got available.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. We're basically moving a lot of marquees, flags, pull-up banners, media walls, everything branded. So that's our core sort of product that we offer to sporting clubs.
The club banner, tell us about that. I was over in the country recently and I saw a couple of banners. Their club banner is up, and it's got the club song written on it, and then it just looks like a curtain, and the players just run through that, and they can use that every week. And I thought, what a magnificent idea. Some of your products are going countrywide and Australia-wide, so the run-through banners for people out there thinking about getting one, it's a universal product.
It's something that can be reused, and we can put milestones on there and the players' names and those types of things. So, yeah, that's been quite popular.
Fantastic. Tell us, there's 4 really, I reckon, most popular items that you've had with clubs. A couple we've mentioned, but let's go through what they are.
Yeah, well, like I said before, the marquees are the main sort of core line with teardrop flags and feather flags, and a lot of the products that we offer we design in-house. We've got a Mitch that's our designer, and he creates the visuals, and clubs approve them from there, so it all seems to work well.
So the branded marquees you can actually get, you go out to a lot of clubs now, you can see at PAC have got them, Glenunga have got them, whoever's product they may be, of course, respectfully we say that, but you can get your club name and all the pictures and the logos, everything on it. That's fantastic.
What often happens is you get the club logo, and then a sponsor or two will jump on board and help fund it for the club, and we'll get all their logos and some messaging from them as well.
The big one, I reckon, we've got 7 divisions into men's and 6 into women's. This is the one that a lot of people need to jump on. If they watched us last week from PAC, we had a media wall behind us with their sponsors on them. So that's something that the Banner Crew can do.
It's exactly what we do. Portable media walls, pull-up banners, all that type of product. Absolutely.
So next year, folks, if we come around to your club, rather than having our banner with Between the Posts behind it, you can have your media banner with your sponsors on there and highlight them to however many viewers that we get over the season. So you do both pull-up banners and full media walls.
That's correct. Yep.
Sensational.
Lots of sizes, yeah.
Flags, you were saying, so club flags?
So there's always opportunities with around Auskick and those sort of things, and different flags to highlight different stations, and there's numerous uses for that type of product. We do a lot of those.
So, Jason, I run my own business, and one of the things I look at is using locally owned. So you're a South Australian, locally owned and made. Everything is produced here in South Australia.
Not everything, but we do all our own design work, as I say, locally owned. We're based out of Port Adelaide on St Vincent Street, but it's just as easy as jumping on our website. Everything's there, and it's quite easy to utilise.
So graphic design, whether I'm doing business cards, whether it's polos, whatever it might be, I want my logo a bit bigger, I want the writing changed, I need the colour of the lettering changed a bit. Oh, I've got another sponsor I want to add on. So you've got a graphic, you don't have to do all that on a website and it sends off. You've got someone right there that can do that.
Yeah, and we'll email you through a visual, so there's no uploading onto our website. You can deal directly with our graphic designer, and he'll work with you to get the design right, and you'll approve from there.
So opportunity now for clubs to get in between, I say for pre-season and next season. The contact details are on the screen, but you've got a magnificent discount going between now and December. What might that be?
We'd be happy passing on a 10% discount to any club, any sporting club out there that mentions Between the Posts. We'd love to support and help where we can.
All right, Jason, business is going fantastic, as we said.
Busy.
It's always a pleasure to get you in. We can't thank you enough. And to the extended clubs out there in the Adelaide Football League, get hold of the Banner Crew. You've heard what they've got available. There's a lot more as well. Get hold of Jason. He'll come and have a chat with you. I'm sure you'll go out and get on the road and have a visit if they can't come to you. And let's look after the clubs. We can't thank you enough for your support, and wish you all the best in the future with the business.
Thanks
for coming in.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Between the Posts. I know you love this bit, Tony. Goals and marks of the week. The exciting things about footy. Now, before we go into last week's winners, we are currently adding to the marks and goals of the week, and voting shortly will start for the goal and mark of the year, because there's been some fantastic ones. So we're going to do a nice little compilation. But let's have a look. Last week's winner. Now, touches my heart. I remember this kid in nappies, and now, goal of the week. They call him Tentacles. Tommy Wagner from PNU. Well done. You've won yourself an ORTC $50 voucher.
Fantastic goal it was too, Tommy. Last week's mark winner is Josh Addy from Green Acres in Division 6. And Josh, you have won yourself a Bianco $100 voucher. So fantastic work, young man. Here are the selections for this week. Remember, the top 3 are on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. To vote, simply head over to the page and cast your vote using the relevant emoji.
Clark streaming toward. It's the danger man. Brazel at ground level. Davis on his right. He's a left footer. That's an absolute beauty. He gives the big salute to his mates at PAC.
Well, good day, footy fans, and thanks to O'Neill Sportswear. Welcome to the weekend wrap. A look at all the men's A-grade results and finals matchups from the Adelaide Footy League from Saturday, September the 16th. And what a huge day it was. We have our first men's premiers, and we have all our promotions sorted out as well to new divisions next year. It all starts with the CMAX Clinical Research Division 7. There is your ladder from quite a few weeks ago. The finals saw OSB Lonsdale knock out Flinders Uni. Houghton upset Para Hills in the qualifying. Para Hills knock out OSB Lonsdale first semi. Ingle Farm straight into the granny, 86-point winners over Houghton. And Houghton getting a rematch, beating Para Hills in the prelim, getting promotion along the way. So yesterday's grand final held at St Mary's Park went the way of Ingle Farm, and it was the Farmers from Go to Woe. The Bulldogs 6-1 in the first quarter, 3-1 in the second, 7-3 in the third, 5-2 in the final. All adds up to an emphatic 86-point win to Ingle Farm, the first men's A-grade premiers for 2023. Congratulations to them. Houghton, however, do not leave Mitcham empty-handed. They actually picked up officially the first men's premiership of 2023 in the Division 7 reserves. Houghton winning against Ingle Farm by a narrow 6-point or 1-goal margin. That is the Clinical Research Division 7 done for season 2023. On to the O'Neill Sportswear Division 6. There's your ladder, Marion from Greenacres and Salisbury. They're the top three left after the finals sorted themselves out. Century United out in the elimination, Fitzroy out in the first semi. Marion and Greenacres, story filtered through about that game after recording last week. What an encounter, double overtime, shots onto the siren, it all happened. The Rams getting through by 1 point, and Greenacres will get their rematch after leading Salisbury all through the day to emerge victorious by 12 points. So Greenacres through the grand final. Salisbury eliminated. The grand final next week. This will be at St Mary's Park. Not too far for the Rams fans to travel, at least. A bit of a hike for Greenacres. Marion and Greenacres, congratulations to both. Promoted to Division 5. They'll play for the O'Neill Sportswear Division 6 Premiership on Saturday. Speaking of Division 5, this is how it panned out this year. Jeps Cross, the minor premiers from Kilburn and Colonel Light Gardens. The top three made it through to the prelim. The way the finals panned out, Trinity eliminated West Croydon in elimination final before they themselves were eliminated by Kilburn. Colonel Light Gardens, bit of an upset win over Kilburn in the qualifying, went down to Jeps Cross in the second semi, and huge amount of goals, 40 goals kicked if you don't mind. Colonel Light Gardens kicked 18 of them, scored 117 points. It wasn't enough. The offensive juggernaut that is the Kilburn Chicks this year, 22 goals, 16, a 31-point win. So it's going to be the two best teams in Division 5 all year without a shadow of a doubt, meeting in next week's grand final. This will be up at Ex-Convenience Oval at Elizabeth, 2:30 first bounce for the A's. Jeps Cross, the Mighty Rams with just one loss, taking on Kilburn, celebrating their 100th year. And congratulations to both on their promotion to Division 4. So that grand final, Ex-Convenience Oval at Elizabeth. To the 9 News, Division 4, Paraka, the minor premiers from Lockleys and CBC Old C. Those three teams made the prelim final week. Plimpton knocked out Hectorville in the opening round and were knocked out by CBC Old C in the first semi-final. Lockleys, an upset win in the second semi over Paraka, sees the Demons straight into the grand final. And Paraka, the minor premiers, went out in straight sets. One less scoring shot, but wildly inaccurate, 8-18 compared with the Dolphins of CBC Old C, 17 goals, 10. A 46-point win to the Dolphins. They're into Division 3, and Paraka have disappointment there, out in straight sets, missing the chance to get promoted. The Division 4 grand final, this will be at Campbelltown Memorial Oval. The Demons of Lockleys, the Dolphins of CBC OC for the 9 News Division 4 Premiership next Saturday. Division 3, Modbury, the minor premiers from running Mercedes and Flinders Park. That was the top three that got to prelim final round. after Pembroke were eliminated by Hope Valley elimination, and then Hope Valley were eliminated by Ummy Mercedes by 40 points in the first semi. Flinders Park, who finished third, beat Ummy Mercedes in the qualifying and Modbury in the second semi by just 6 points to get the promotion to Div 2 and the early grand final berth. Modbury and Ummy Mercedes, it was the Hawks 4-0 at the start. Ummy came into it in the second quarter, trailed by 2 goals at half-time. But after the half-time break, pretty much one-way traffic for Modbury. 9-3. A 47-point win sees the Hawks into Div 2 and the grand final. It'll be Flinders Park and Modbury next week. This will be at Montane Kia Oval at Woodville, not too far from Flinders Park to travel for their match against Modbury. That's the Division 3 grand final next Saturday. On to the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation Division 2, Golden Grove, Payneham and Foss, your top 3 sides. After Athelston were knocked out in the elimination final by Rocks, and Rocks narrow losers by 2 points to Payneham Norwood Union in the first semi. Foss, bit of an upset in the qualifying on the road, beat Payneham, but didn't have a great second road trip to Golden Grove, going down by 95 points. And they were, well, out of contention pretty early in this one, 6-1 in the first quarter. Did make a game of it, 4-2 in the third quarter, brought it back to a 17-point margin at the last change, but then Payneham flicked the switch, 4-0 in the final quarter, sees Payneham Norwood Union back in Division 1 after just being relegated this time last year. Foss will have to wait at least another year to get that long-awaited promotion. The Division 2 grand final, this is going to be at Hisense Stadium. Richmond, Golden Grove, the Kookaburras, Payneham Norwood Union. The 2 best sides, you'd have to say, through the season meeting there. Okay, Division 1. Glenunga, the minor premiers, Prince Alfred, Sacred Heart. Let's not forget Tea Tree Gully, who made it by 0.3% with an 8-10 record. Then the Wolves were ballistic in the finals, downing the Premiers Port District by 15 points at Largs and upsetting Sacred Heart at Sacred Heart by 11 points in the first semi. Meanwhile, Prince Alfred beat Sacred Heart in the qualifying, but Glenunga got them by just 8 points in the second semi. Yesterday, very much after quarter time, Tea Tree Gully kicked the first 2 goals. Prince Alfred then kicked the next 12 goals without reply, holding Tea Tree Gully goalless in the second and third quarter to establish a 68-point three-quarter time lead, which they then extended to 76 points at game's end. So an emphatic effort from Prince Alfred Old Collegians. They're into their 3rd straight Division 1 grand final. Tea Tree Gully season, which got exciting late, is now over. So the big game, the best of the best next week, the Division 1 grand final. This is at Norwood Oval. Glenunga shooting for their first ever Div 1 championship against Prince Alfred, looking for their 3rd in the decade, or their 3rd Division 1 at all time, which would make them the most successful club of all the collegiate sides that we have in the Adelaide Footy League. So they're all the divisions. A quick reminder, here's the relegation club. Won't mention those anymore. They're going down a division. Our promotions club is now set. Golden Grove, Payneham Norwood Union into Div 1. Flinders Park, Modbury Hawks, Div 2. Lockleys and CBC Old C up to Div 3. Jeps Cross and Kilburn up to Div 4. Marion, Greenacres rising to Div 5. And Ingle Farm and Houghton going up to Houghton District, I should say, going up from Div 6 to Div 7. So, huge, massive Saturday coming up. 20 grand finals, 7 different locations. Let's have a look at them. Price Memorial Oval at Mitcham will have the C7 and C8. Prince Alfred, Modbury, Sacred Heart have other venues to go to. Modbury, that is their 4th team in a grand final. Prince Alfred, that's their 3rd. St Mary's Parks will be looking after the Division 6. Marion are in all 3 grand finals, including the big one against Greenacres. Those games that you see with the asterisks, they will be live streamed thanks to Filming Footy. Extra Convenience Oval will be looking after Division 5, where Colonel Gardens are in a couple of grannies, as are Kilburn. They'll be facing off against Jeps Cross in the Div 5 Grand Final at 2:30. Campbell Memorial Oval looking after Division 4. Lockleys looking for the trifecta, the hat-trick in all 3 Grand Finals. Morphy Parks in the C's, Clinton in the B's. CBCOC, Dolphins looking for a big year. They're already going up to Div 3. Could they claim the premiership? They'll battle Lockleys at 2:30pm, Campbelltown Memorial Oval. Switching to Division 3, this is going to be at Woodville Montine Kia Oval. Modbury are in all 3 games. An early start. Not sure how you're going to get the St. Mary's in all of this, but Modbury versus Pembroke, Modbury versus only Mercedes in the reserves, and then Modbury Flinders Park at Division 3. Hisense Stadium at Richmond, Henley and Rocks will get us underway. Then Golden Grove and Payne and Milligan will have a B grade and an A grade grand final matchup back-to-back at Richmond. And finally, huge day streaming-wise, all 3 games at Norwood will be streamed live on Film and Footy. 10 o'clock, the C1s, Prince Alfred and Sacred Heart. 12:15, Goodwood Saints and Glenunga. And then the best of the best, the big one, the Division 1 Grand Final. Glenunga, Prince Alfred, Old Collegians at 2:30. All right, that's a wrap on the weekend wrap. Thanks to O'Neill Sportswear for their support through the season. Hope you get a chance to get out and see some of the great Grand Final action, 20 in all, coming up next Saturday. Until the final wrap, to be the season wrap, I'm Phil Heaven saying thanks for watching and enjoy your footy.
Welcome to Between the Posts, Tony. We've had some great outtakes. None better than James, the cameraman, not being able to count down 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Jimmy. You're great behind. You stay behind. Let's get to this. Hey, this is going to be a one-stop shop. This is going to be a great segment, an important segment, Tony, because we're going to give them the 8 grand finals. Now, why is it 8, Tony? Shouldn't it be 6?
8, because these ones, Tommy, are live streamed and commentated. So wherever you are around the world, we don't say that lightheartedly because a lot of the old scholars and past players and so on.
My sister watches in Colorado, mate. So
there you go. Yeah. So they are live streamed around the world, around Australia, South Australian, regional and metro. And we thank all our friends and our viewers so much that send in. And so thanks so much for putting these up as a live stream and commentator, especially the grand final. What's up on Saturday?
I average, it's only one a week. Once a week someone seeks me out and finds me. Generally someone who can't generally be and says thank you throughout the year. I've listened, I've watched, and not about me, about the actual product, the game, the dartfish, the cameraman and the work we've done so they can watch their kids, their grandkids, whoever it is. So appreciate the positive feedback. Get plenty of negative, so it's the positive stuff's good. So we're going to start in Div 1. Div 1's huge because it's a triple header. That's right, we're streaming all 3 games. So C1, Prince Alfred take on Sacred Heart. Your commentators will be the real deal. Tony Neal with Jad, the young assassin, who's been doing great things this year. The Div 1 reserves, now this is going to be a bit of a different one because now the Div 1 reserves, of course, Glenunga, my team from last year. Haven't they improved since I've got rid of them? They'll be taking on Goodwood Saints. Now, Phil's going to be commentating that game, but what we're going to have is, I don't want to say roaming Tommy, but I'm going to be down on the boundary line speaking to some Glenunga people, some PAC people, as we get ready for the big Div 1 climax.
You're not allowed to speak onto the ground either, the 19th man, because it is a grand final. Let's take it seriously. But you are. I think that's great to give the viewers that insight down from on the ground. There'll be another camera down there and you'll be able to tell what's happening. You'll be seeing what's happening on the bench and the moves on the ground. So great work, Tommy.
Beautifully done. And of course the main game of the year in all divisions, with all due respect to every other division, is the Stream Team game, Glenunga versus PAC at Norwood Oval. Again, it'll be myself and the team with Phil, Adam, and I'll be jumping out the 22-minute mark of each quarter to get down, speak to, just get some huddles, get some on the ground action. It's going to be wonderful at Division 1. And then post game, whichever team is winning, I'll be jumping in the huddle and having a couple of quick interviews. Now, apologies in advance, there could be some colourful things happening in there, but looking forward to that one.
It's actually great fun. We got down to Tea Tree Gully one year when I tipped against them. That was interesting in the tunnel at Norwood. I've got a story about that with the big fella, big tickets down there, but it was all in fun. And we got into the rooms with Goodwood to be able to take viewers into the rooms or in and around that area post-game. It's as good as any production out there across Australia, mate. And I say that seriously. So good on you, Tommy, and good luck with that. Division 2, Breakthrough Mental Health, is Golden Grove versus Payne and Norwood Union, of course, at Hisense Stadium, which is Richmond Oval, which is West Adelaide. And that's brought to you by Matt Gale and Beck Northcott.
Well done, Tony. In Division 3, it's Flinders Park heading back to Division 2. They'll be taking on Modbury. They were the red-hot favourites throughout the year. Of course, Flinders Park giving the chocolate in the second semi. That's at Morn Team Woodville Oval. Nice wide expanses there. It'll be Timmy Pillion and guests giving you the must-see coverage.
Division 4, 9 News is Lockleys versus, well, CBCOC. Got in. So, surprise to those external, but probably not to themselves. Internal Paracal are up there, but couldn't quite get the chocolate. So it will be Lockleys versus CBCOC at Campbelltown Oval, and that is myself and Jed Pfeiffer looking forward to a ripping game with both teams.
Did you say Jed Pfeiffer?
That is it.
Of course, Salisbury North reserves coach, so doing good things, former Ingle Farm coach. Good to see Jed on the broadcast. Division 5, the Wayfield Sports Clinic. It's the battle of the North Adelaide Zone teams. Jeps Cross and Kilburn in their 100th year. It is at another one of my homes, mate, more clubs than Tiger Woods, at Ex-Convenience Oval in Elizabeth at Central Districts. You won't get a bigger ground than that. It should be a great game. The commentators will be Vince Cosmo off of his APFL Grand Final last weekend and Jack Moore.
Division 6, O'Neill Sportswear is Marion versus Greenacres at St Mary's Oval, another massive oval down there, and this is brought to you by Jad Gosson and Nathan Woods. So stay tuned for all of these magnificent grand finals. As we said, you won't have to wait around till 5 o'clock Saturday night. You can flick over on your phone during the day and just flick through and look at all the scores, look at a couple of highlights, whatever you'd like to do. Fantastic, all brought to you through Dartfish and Filming Footy. So have a look through those and we'll be back after a short break. Well, thanks for viewing. Once again, you are the most important people to us, all the viewers out there. Looking forward to a massive day Saturday, Tommy, with all the grand finals. Enjoy all the live streams and commentary. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors. We'd also like to thank our guests coming on the show this evening.
Yes, thanks. Of course, you can find us on social media, which you're probably doing because you're watching us right now. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and your colleagues at your club so they can have a look at the grand finals because they're all being televised. And thank you, obviously, very much for viewing each year Between the Posts.
You've been watching Between the Posts.